Hey, are you in search of a podcast with answers to life's deepest questions? Well, this ain't it. Join 4 friends as we discuss topics that might be mainstream, but not common knowledge. It's guaranteed to be mentally stimulating, and you'll leave with more questions than answers. You're listening to the I'm Not Dumb But podcast. And on this podcast, we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. My name is Caesar, joined by Rob,
You.
Victor,
What up?
and Mitch.
Hey,
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
What's going on, bro?
doing
All
good,
right.
doing good.
Doing good. Today's episode is on artificial intelligence.
Ooh, AI.
AI, man, AI.
A movie?
The movie.
Will Smith?
Will Smith cameo.
I gotta Google that one because I haven't
That's
seen
not
that one.
AI.
That's not AI. You talking about
That's
AI is
iRobot?
the one
AI.
with the little kid.
Yeah, but I'm talking iRobot. That was all AI.
iRobot was fucking terrible.
Oh, what was
I have seen
AI
that
with
AI is the one with the little kid.
That's what
the
Robin
and-
Williams.
Sixth Sense?
No, that's Bicentennial Man.
Oh my god.
That's also AI.
No,
Because
Oh,
if not,
AI is with that little yeah.
yeah,
What's his
the
name?
kid that could see
Ghost-
dead people.
No, what's his name?
I didn't
We'll
see
watch it next week. We'll watch it.
Yeah,
next week.
yo, Mitch, you down?
Yeah, I'm down.
Haley Joel Osment.
That guy?
Yeah. AI.
Cool. All right. So, what do you guys know about AI?
It's taking over the world. That's what I know.
It will be the end of us.
Here's my thing about AI. It's not where I want it to be, and it's annoying.
Annoying.
It's annoying because it's not where you want to be, or it's annoying just being annoying.
It's like teasing me because right now, let's say this happened today. I was driving home from Jersey and I'm talking to my Google Maps, as you do, because it's sending me fucking ways that I don't want to fucking go. And then it sends me like right into traffic, and the straight path that's all road signs are pointing to is fucking clear. And it said there was traffic on there. So it has me going off this random exit into fucking Jersey. All of a sudden, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to jump on this thing. What I think it was doing, it was sending everyone into that. So everyone was following their GPSs into whatever exit and getting stuck in traffic. And I just said, fuck it. I went straight, no traffic.
So you're smarter than AI?
No, it's just that like you want to talk to it. You want a Jarvis. Like I want a Jarvis. I want to be like, hey, can you pull this up for me?
Yeah,
And it just do it. And we're not there.
that's what I want.
Or hey, Google, find a better route. I don't like this route. Take this bridge.
Do you use Siri?
No, I turned it off because it got annoying.
Well, it's actually perfect segue. Because so in simple terms, right, artificial intelligence is just basically a branch of computer science, right, that tries to build a smart machine capable of performing tasks that require human intelligence, right? So it's kind of broken down into two, either strong AI or weak AI. And weak AI is all around us. Victor, you literally just gave me an example. Siri, Google Maps, Waze is all considered weak AI.
I don't surround myself with weakness, so I'm going to cut it all out. I want to be surrounded by winners and strong people.
I eat success for breakfast with skim milk.
Well, yeah, strong AI is Jarvis, like you mentioned. But we haven't gone that far yet. We don't have the technology and AI. Our advances in AI are just small steps into what is depicted in movies and like shows. So right now we're just dealing with weak AI, and in terms of weak, it's because one, it doesn't lift.
Boom.
And two, it's basically
leg day.
it definitely skips leg day. And two, it's considered weak AI because it's only geared towards a certain tasks within certain parameters. So the reason why you can't talk to Google Maps and say, "Hey, I don't like this way. Can you give me another way?" It's because Google Maps was made within certain parameters that it's not able to get out the parameters. Yeah. It's not it doesn't have the capacity yet to do that.
So, Caesar, you said there's obviously weak AI. Like we have weak AI all around us, and you said strong AI. Do we have a strong AI right now?
No, strong AI is literally what you see on movies and TV. So when you see
So it's fake. Strong AI is just kind of made up right now at this point.
strong AI is basically the goal of everything.
Okay.
So
Right.
when you listen, so
Okay.
when you watch Jarvis, right, and he's able to talk to you, try to basically have a human conversation, and also kind of give you his thoughts and stuff. That's what these computer science people are trying to get to. So that's strong AI. Right now, it's considered weak AI because like Alexa, Siri, any sort of like email spam filters, right? Or even Netflix recommendations. They are only allowed to work within certain parameters, and they can't like get out of it. You know what I mean? So that's why they're considered weak AI. But AI is literally all around us.
Cool.
So yeah, we're heading towards a strong AI, but we don't have the capacity to do that yet.
Why not? What do we need?
Microchips.
Is that what we need?
Oh, there's a shortage,
Probably.
right? Isn't there?
But we also need the capacity to actually understand what the heck we're doing.
Here's a question: do we want it to get stronger though?
Of course. And no.
Yes, and no, right?
Yes and no. Yes and no. This is one of the main questions I was going to ask you guys later on, but we can get into it now.
No, let's save it for later.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll save it for later, and so table it for later, and so a couple of examples of, like I mentioned, weak AI. So it's Siri, self-driving cars, Google search, Netflix recommendations, and the reason why they're considered AI again is because they operate within a limited context. It's simulating human intelligence, but it's not really. It's only applied to a narrow goal. So when you talk to Siri, you say, "Hey Siri," you ask her a question. You think that it's actually answering you, but what it's actually doing is grabbing all those questions from all the different users, and then based on your question, it's giving you the most likely response based on what other people have searched. So if it was a strong version of this AI, what it would do is it would take all that information, literally give you its response, not what everybody else is asking you. It will literally create a response within itself, just like a human. You know what I mean?
So Siri's basically a search engine.
Yes, it's
Like a
basically
quick- Okay.
yeah.
It's a Google
So-
search.
It's a Google
Right.
search, yeah. It's a Google search. And like I said, it works within a certain set of parameters, and that's what makes it considered a weak AI. And two of the biggest things that I kind of want to talk to today, that kind of create like what we know as the concept of AI, are two things. So it's machine learning and deep learning. And in simplest terms, right? Machine learning is basically you're giving a computer a whole bunch of data, right? And you're telling the computer, okay, based on all this data that I'm giving you, I want you to find the answer to a certain task that we haven't programmed you with. In simplest terms, I'm going to give you an example. Finish this saying for me, right? Peanut butter and
Bananas.
Salad.
Jelly.
What the hell did you just say?
wow, 2 out of the 3 contestants need to go. And the one contestant needs to step up because he won. So I'm gonna ask this question
Think
again.
outside the box, bro.
I'm built different.
No, bro.
This is what
No.
this is what separates us from AI. I'm not just some fucking
You-
machine
you-
learning.
Exactly, bro.
You, sir, are gonna be the first to die. To die. The machines are gonna say to you, "No, we don't need that kind.
I'm
We don't need
getting
that IQ."
Skynet.
No, but like, no, but like, seriously, like when I say to you, finish this phrase, peanut butter and,
Jelly.
Marshmallow.
Jelly.
the most likely response is gonna be jelly, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's in my view, that's actually a example of what machine learning does. So we've been programmed all our life that every time someone says peanut butter, we think jelly, right? We've learned it, and it's been repeated over and over and over and over and again. And that's exactly what machines do when they're considered machine learning. What they do is they take a whole bunch of data, right? You ask it something, and based on the statistics, it creates kind of like a curve, meaning it gives probabilities to different responses that someone that something could likely be, and then when it gives you a response, it's giving you the highest probability for that response. So when I asked you to finish the statement, peanut butter and jelly was the most likely response because that's what we've heard over and over again. Of course, it's peanut butter and banana, peanut butter and other things, but the most likely response is peanut butter and jelly. The same thing goes to machine learning. When you ask it something, it takes a whole bunch of data that we've fed it. It creates like a grid with all probabilities, and it says, okay, based on this guy's questions and based on all this data that I have, the most likely response is this. So this is what I'm predicting that this is going to be the best response.
So is that the weak AI?
No,
Is
that's
that what Siri does?
That's what Siri does, but that's a concept of AI in general.
Okay.
So in order to when we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about machine learning, and this is how they do it. Right? So it just takes a whole bunch of data and just gives you it takes the probability of all of that data that's been being fed and creates a certain grid, and then when it gives you a response, it's just giving you the response that it thinks it has the highest probability it's going to be.
Not like what we do now, like as people. Don't we just like take the best response and just spit it out and really don't know what it means?
Yeah, which is why I asked you about
I mean, you're supposed to know what it means.
I mean,
That's the difference. That's why you're not just a machine. You can interpret stuff that machines don't interpret. To
I know,
them,
but
everything's
like,
black and white.
let's say you ever like talk to somebody who doesn't know a subject but knows what to say about a subject,
Yes.
Sure.
right? Like it's completely shallow, but they are saying all the right things. And
Sure.
that like seems to be like what the weak AI is now. But is that like a stepping stone of learning? Like, what do you think? Or what is that? Because people do that now. They just spit facts that they know online, but they actually have no idea what it means.
I think it's part of learning. I mean, this is the difference that we brought up a few episodes ago about critical thinking. It's one thing to just regurgitate what someone told me and then to understand what something is being said.
Yeah,
it says it in the name, right? Machine learning. You're literally trying to teach the machine to learn as it's going. Which it's basically the same thing we've kind of do with before we do critical thinking. We learn something by getting information. We might not understand that information, but we kind of get it. We take it a step further when we give it like on a test, like an open question where it's like, take this information, run with it. But if you're given like a multiple choice question, we can figure it out. And that's kind of what machine learning is.
So I'm just trying to understand. So machine learning would be like where it just has the best probability answer to your questions.
The mathematics behind all this stuff, I think it's basically getting all the information, right? Giving it a probability. And when it gives you a response, it's giving you the response which has the highest probability that it's going to be. So when you ask it a question, it's going to give you a response that it thinks is the highest probability of it being. It's probably going to be right because, the machine has all this information known to man. So, but that's the that's the concept and that's the mathematics behind all of this stuff.
So if you ask it like a yes or no question, 90% is probably going to be right.
What it's going to say, if you ask it a yes or no question, what it's going to do is going to go through all its data. It's going to filter out all its stuff. And then it's going to get to a response that says, okay, based on all this information, the likely probability that's going to be yes or no, it's just going to choose which is the highest probability. So if you give it a question that requires a yes or no, it's going to say, okay, based on all this stuff, I've gone through all this stuff. I think based on all this information that I got, I think the likely response is going to say yes. The foundation of that is mathematics, which is statistics. It's giving probabilities to all this information.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it like this. Like, that you ever been given that moral question of there's the train? The train, there's like people tied on the tracks, 5 people, there's 1 person. Where do you send the train? Do you kill the 5 or do you kill the 1?
Mm-hmm.
I think a machine learning would just say you kill the 1 person every time because they can't interpret, okay, well, this is the situation for all of them. This guy's doing this, this guy's doing that. it's just going black and white. No, you're going to do this every time. Whereas we put in morality, we put in, we think more thoroughly of, it's a moral problem for us. It's the decision is an issue for us. It wouldn't be an issue for a machine.
Well, that same scene happened in that Will Smith movie. You remember?
Motherfucker. Always coming back to iRobot.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
In iRobot, when the robot went to save the kid or went to save Will Smith, but Will Smith was like, no, save the kid. And the machine was like, the probability of you surviving is higher than the probability of the kid. So it chose to save Will Smith instead of the kid. But morally, as a human, we would save the kid. Like, and that's a decision that the machines can't make.
I would have saved Will Smith because he made getting jiggy with it, right?
You might get paid after he saved it.
Getting jiggy with it, all right. But yeah, you guys are absolutely right. If you ask that question to a machine as it's going through its process of learning, it's gonna say, based on my research, I think it's gonna say save the most people because that's the higher probability, and if you give that question to some humans, they're probably going to say the same thing, regardless of morality. It's just sometimes you're just doing it based on numbers.
I mean, I think they talked about bringing up the same question to self-driving cars. If the car goes out of control or does something and it has to hit 5 people or 1 person, what does it choose? And I think that was one of the issues.
Well, I think that's a great point with self-driving cars. Actually, I watched a bunch of like car videos today, and they're making a lot of autonomous cars now. Like there's some like supercars that don't even have steering wheels, which is like insane. You just literally
like concept cars.
They're pretty much concept cars.
Yeah.
They're luxury concept cars, and basically you are there's a YouTuber or like somebody that was watching, and she reviews all these like concept cars, but they're like supercars. And one, like, you walk into it and there's no steering wheel. It's just a giant screen and like a couch with the seatbelt. And it's just autonomous cars. And you just tell it where to go and it goes. That's part of machine learning too, because it's learning as it's going. I'm sure it has like a like an algorithm built in as far as like a Google Maps, like knows the roads, knows where to go, but it's probably learning. All right, this car in front of me is going 60 miles per hour. This person going 30 miles per hour. Let me go around this person so I can stay the speed limit. I think that's what we're talking about, like machine learning, right? It's learning as it's going. Does that kind of make sense?
Well, yeah, because it's getting the data. But like the thing I'm thinking about, what we were talking about earlier, is now you have a self-driving vehicles, and like it's a computer. So it's a computer. Computers need rules. They're like, this is what you need to follow. If X, you need to do Y. If Y, you need to do Z. Now you have a self-driving car, and if it gets into a situation, whose life do you protect more, the driver or the pedestrian? An AI driving a car has to figure that out, and you want it to make the best choice, and it may or may not.
Which leads me to the second concept that's part of AI called deep learning.
Ooh, get deep.
Deep learning. Okay.
Super deep. Super deep, right?
I'm as deep as you want me to be.
So this concept is a little bit more murky, I feel. So what they do, right? They kind of mimic the human brain and take these neural pathways, and they take inputs, put it through these neural pathways, and what they consider it a black box, and then they get an output. And they consider it a black box because from my reading, they actually have no idea what goes on in there. It's kind of like as the brain, all the neural pathways in the brain, as something goes in, it makes all these decisions and something come out. It's the same thing with deep learning. It's a subset of machine learning, but it has like I mentioned, these neural pathways where it's just algorithms that take in information and then spit out an output. With those two concepts, I think that's what's heading towards what we consider as strong AI, where the information comes in, weak AI sees, all the inputs, all the data, gives you a response. But then when it goes into its deep learning, that's when it's going to start doing some kind of critical thinking and say, eventually, maybe you don't save Will Smith, you save the child. You know what I mean? That's deep learning, but that's a little bit like more murky, like I said, because from my readings, it doesn't seem as if like they fully understand what's going on within that. So my question is to you guys is actually, do you guys know what an algorithm is?
Is it like code, like computer code?
Yeah, what's an algorithm? We always say it. Everyone talks about it, but
It's a math problem.
That's what I would think.
it's actually in computer and programmer terms is actually a detailed set of instructions.
Wow.
Instructions. So like in like in an Excel spreadsheet, like if this happens, then do this or something like that.
Sort of, yeah. So you're given a computer program a set of inputs. The algorithm, which is this detailed set of instructions, you tell it go do this, do that, and it's giving you an output. It's kind of like a recipe for a cake. You got all the ingredients, you follow the recipe, you on the outside, on the other side, you can build the cake.
So it's kind of like obviously, like if you watch YouTube videos and you pick a movie about, or you pick a show about I don't know, NBA, right? Sports or basketball. And you don't normally watch basketball, but let's say, somebody said, "Oh, go watch this highlight." So you watch it, you type in, highlight from today, LA Lakers, whatever, and then boom, you look at your feed and it's just NBA on your feed, something like that.
Yes. So that's considered what we first talked about weak AI, right? Where it's the algorithm. It's saying if it's giving me if a user clicks on all these different things, the algorithm is a detailed set of instructions that says, okay, based on this view, based on that view, based on this view, based on that view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all this information, and on the other side, I'm going to recommend videos that I think, based on what this user has clicked on, would like. So it's just what you just said. If you clicked on a whole bunch of NBA videos, right? An algorithm would say, okay, this video is 10 minutes long, this video is 20 minutes long, this video, I'm going to do an average of that. This video has this highlight, this video has that highlight, this video has that highlight. I'm going to take an average of that. And then I'm going to make, based on all this information, I'm going to give this guy recommendations based on what he just clicked on.
It's like PEMDAS.
Yeah,
Order of
operations. Yeah.
It's an order of operations. It's an order, but it's, more advanced. It's not for math problems. It's for data.
Yeah. It's just a super detailed set of instructions that, given a certain set of inputs, are going to give you a certain set of outputs. But I wanted to ask you because I always hear it, and I'm like, I when I was doing the research for this, I'm like, oh, that's what that is.
So those instructions, right? You said instructions. Who's giving the instructions?
Jesus.
Hey, I always follow Jesus, okay?
3 nails plus 1 cross equals 4 given.
Jesus and a programmer. So
okay.
Yeah,
so that can that programmer manipulate those instructions to make it, the way they want it to happen or whatever?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Right. So, but I guess what you're saying to your other point, we want AI to create its own algorithm, or to learn from to learn its own algorithm to give its own input instead of the programmer's input.
Well, this is actually a little side story. I think a couple of years ago, Google created an algorithm to create a new language. So Google created an algorithm. It says, okay, this is what we want you to learn. We want you to do all this stuff, and we want you to communicate. What the algorithm did was it said English is too hard, so it created its own language.
Oh,
Google got spooked and canceled the whole thing.
Really?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I think I heard of that.
They got spooked. They said, literally the machines would talk to themselves, and they're not talking in a language that we actually even understand.
Oh, so we definitely don't want that.
No.
Well, because the machines are talking another language that nobody else can figure out. What are they saying to each other?
So yeah, technically, in the future, most likely, you're going to have artificial intelligence that's going to be able to write its own code.
Because didn't recently ChatGPT create its own language called Shogtongue?
Shogtongue.
Have you heard of that?
I did not.
I mean, I was waiting for somebody to bring up ChatGPT because I heard that's what I heard as well.
I was waiting for someone to bring up Shogtongue.
Shogtongue.
Okay. So what's Shogtongue?
I'm looking it up now. So I guess it's just let me look into it and see because I just heard about it.
No, so one of the reasons why I decided to do open talk about artificial intelligence was because there's been a lot of these new AI tools that have been released on the market, specifically ChatGPT, which I've used. Have you guys used it?
I've
Yeah, I
seen
want to
it
get that.
used.
Everyone at work is using it to write
It's
emails to each other.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so
Isn't that just machine learning though? Because it's just pulling shit
it's
and just writing it out for you.
it's what's considered a I think I forgot the actual term of it, but it's considered like a kind of like a structured language that allows you to talk to the machine and it's gonna respond to you as if you're talking to someone else. So this is like the fourth generation of it. And when they originally created this thing, they said, okay, we have this tool that we've been able to use, but it doesn't help us anyway because it's not really user friendly. This iteration is super user friendly and you're able to talk to it and it's able to have conversations with you as if like it's someone else on the other line.
It's spruced up user interface,
Yeah.
but it's still doing. If I type in a question in Google, now it just gives you a summary of what it thinks the answer is going to be. It's basically doing the same thing. It's ChatGPT.
Exactly. But ChatGPT, you can actually tell it to write, let's say, it's even more advanced than Google.
Right.
Google, if you type in, I think I saw a video where a person gave it like 3 or 4 different words, and it was like to ChatGPT, it says, "Find me the poem where this was created," and in like 3 seconds, it not only gave you the poem, it gave you like the whole thing just based on those 3 words, the correct poem.
I've heard people were using it to like write essays for school.
Yeah.
And shit. And
So
and instructors are having issues trying to figure out if it's them or a computer. Like they can't really tell it apart.
So the usability on this thing is amazing. People have done that. I've seen screenshots of where someone actually told ChatGPT to write a paper for him, and the only reason why it got caught is because the idiot used. If you asked ChatGPT for a response up top, it tells you. It says the name of ChatGPT. Whoever decided to write the essay left it up there and handed it in. So it was like based on this response, this is what you would. So it literally just take a screenshot and just submitted the whole thing. That's the only reason why it got caught.
Kids are amateurs these days.
Kids are idiots.
I've seen where you can take what ChatGPT wrote and then take that paragraph, put it into another program where it's like an encyclopedia or not a thesaurus or whatever. It changes some words around to even more fake it, or make it like different, and then use that as your own words, and then you submit that paper. It's crazy.
Do you remember? You ever done this? I did this a few times. You ever submit like you email your paper in, but you don't attach it, and then it buys you like an extra day?
Oh yeah, I thought I submitted it.
You put in here's the attached paper, but then you don't attach the paper, and then you just send an email and you wait for the professor to respond, which usually is like about a day. So you have a little extra time to finish whatever essay.
Oh my god,
it's a good move. It's a good move.
That was I don't know if you can do it anymore, but it used to work back in the day.
It
used to work
because now you have to submit it through like this program that tells you
Blackboard or
the percent of it that
plagiarized or whatever.
Plagiarized. So you can't submit an empty document. So
what is the lowest percentage that it can be, or I guess the highest percentage it can be plagiarized?
Yo, if you're talking about 20, 30, 40%, I would say rewrite the paper. Rewrite the paper. But yeah, the usability on this thing is amazing. I've seen we were talking about earlier, students using it on exams now. You just copy and paste a question, you put it on ChatGPT, and it's going to give you the response right away. It's going to give you an explanation of the response with the response in literally 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah, my cousin, she was telling me that she used it for her final in her class, and because she had to get a flight, and she was like, I don't have time to write it, so she just ChatGPT wrote it.
Dude, isn't that?
And she never got caught.
Isn't that crazy?
Till now.
And then I know My
Sorry.
one of our
Sorry,
buddies,
not
one of
sorry.
our buddies at work, right? They have like the end of the year report, and they're like, come up with goals for yourself. So he went on ChatGPT and he said like, what are the goals of a project manager? And then it just ripped them all out, and he just threw them in there for his performance review. Like just the most mundane things that you don't want to do, like these things can do it.
It does it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet I have seen that it's helpful for like in Excel when you're like, how do you do this? And it'll tell you how to do it and why.
Mm.
And it'll like give you formulas and stuff. That's helpful. But
You're only limited by your imagination. So a lot of these AIs.
I still have yet to use it.
Just use
I
it.
want to get
use-
it.
Yeah, just get on it. I used it to ask
I
it.
have no need to.
I asked
Nah,
it
you
for
need
like,
to, bro.
when's the best time to go to Paris? What are the dates? What are the?
That's a quick Google search. Give it a hard question.
No, bro. It tells me the date. It tells me like when I should go. It doesn't. It's not. ChatGPT doesn't have real time data. So before I asked the question, I thought it was going to give me where I can actually get flights. That's my original. Like I wanted the cheapest flights and I wanted the best times to go. But it wasn't. I had to do a little bit more research and find out that as of now it still doesn't have real time data for you to get that information. So it only did best time to go was in August or September, depending on if you want to deal with people or not.
So less busiest time is what it's giving you.
No, it told me August is super busy, but it's super nice because it's summer. If you don't mind it, the weather change, go September. It's probably even better.
Are you happy to be in Paris?
So we talked about the two of the concepts of artificial intelligence, which is machine learning and deep learning. And a lot of the major reasons why a lot of this stuff is happening now is because of two things. Where one, everyone's just generating a ton of data. No matter what you do, you're just generating tons and tons of data, right? Every time you go to a website, just a ton of data that's being generated by everything and everyone on the planet, right? And the second thing is that now we have the capacity to actually analyze that data. So it's leading to a lot of these companies creating a lot of these, just super smart machines, because the machines these programs, these algorithms are only as good as the data that's being fed. So if you're not giving it a lot of information, it's not going to give you a response that's going to be most accurate. It needs just a giant ton of data for it to do its job.
So what companies are making these fucking things?
OpenAI is who created ChatGPT, right? That's the name of the company, OpenAI. You got Microsoft. Microsoft has its own. And Google even released their own. It's called Google Bard.
Bard.
Because no one wants to be left behind. I saw someone on MSNBC saying that in the future, the more AI's market is going to be like $1 trillion. So everyone is trying to jump on this now, which leads me to, I think this is the crux of what I wanted to talk about tonight is, are we ready for this? Are we ready for this technology?
I don't know, man.
Individually or just as a collective, are we ready for just artificial intelligence?
It's going to be really good I think it'll push us forward, but it's like you're making something with the potential to be smarter than you. And I think that's like scary. Oh, that's the goal, is like you're trying to make something that's smarter than you.
The way of the future. The way of the future. The way of the future.
I mean, yeah.
Are we ever ready for a leap in technology? I mean, fuck, dude, we went to great lengths to figure out how to split an atom, and the first thing we did was drop it on a bunch of civilians. Any type of leap in technology, we're never ready for. It's always a bloodbath, and then we have to try to figure it out, the world after it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It just happens, and then we adapt to whatever that new world is.
It's like what happened with cell phones, 10 years ago. We didn't have computers in our pockets.
10 years ago, we had to hit the same key 3 times to get the letter that we wanted to text.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
If you wanted the letter C,
If you want, they got to type in 3 times.
and that was just 10 years ago. Right? Or maybe a little bit more, but that was
No, it's more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because the first iPhone came out in what, 07, 08?
Yeah. Oh wow. Right. Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, we were flipping our phones open all the fucking time. A text message cost money. Yeah, I didn't want to fucking text
Lots
you.
of money.
Yeah.
I got in trouble once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
especially an international text. Oh boy.
Before that, I had to wait till nights or weekends to make my fucking phone call.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
If you were the rich family, you had early nights and weekends.
But look how fast it's moving. This is moving so fast. Just especially with our generation. With internet, and like we when we grew up, we didn't really there was internet, but then it just kind of like with AOL and all that stuff. Then the technology went up crazy. Now you could just hop on a website anytime.
I think you brought up a good point. I mean, I think our generation, and we're in our 30s, and we adapted differently to how, like, let's say Gen Z has adapted, because we had a period in our lives where the internet wasn't really a thing. Like it existed, but it wasn't like used en masse. And look how the way we post on social media or any of those factions and the way Gen Z does it. They'll go out on the internet and they'll pour their fucking souls out on TikTok or some shit. And you're like, private things are my private things. I don't ever release that. So I think just the way how we treat the internet and how like younger generations treat the internet is completely different.
Agree.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the positives or the potential benefits for artificial intelligence, and one of them is being reduction in human error based on a whole host of things. Whether you're talking about finance, specifically in medicine, right? Now the future of medicine is heading towards AI, especially for cancer. You're in the future. Doctors are going to be co-partners with artificial intelligence. And it's going to lead to theoretically better outcomes for patients with cancer. So you're going to be able, because you're going to feed all that information that an individual has, right? Their weight, their height, all these symptoms that they're going through, their genetic composition. You're going to feed it to this computer. This computer is going to give you the best possible outcome based on the entire knowledge that we have as a human civilization, alongside a doctor that's going to say, okay, this is what the AI is telling me, and this is what the plan that we should move forward. So a potential benefit for this is we're heading towards a lot more personalized medicine. Personalized, if for a lot of these cancer patients, a lot of these cancer drugs, they're beneficial because they kill cancer, but they're also detrimental because they kill healthy cells. So with AI, in the future, you're probably going to start seeing, who knows, maybe one day we'll figure out a cure for cancer just because, we have this information, we have this technology readily available to us.
So now, like, is AI going to, like, look and be like, yeah, you need to start bloodletting? And we're gonna be like, what the?
Yeah, where's the holistic?
Yeah, it's gonna start doing. Like, is it gonna like start to like look at all the other stuff we used to do? Like, oh, you have a headache? Yeah, we need to drill a hole in your head with like an obsidian rock.
You're gonna say, "Hey, I have cancer." It's gonna spit out 3 crystals and tell them to hang it up above your bed.
Probably, if that's the most probable outcome, yeah, then probably. But you're also gonna have like a doctor. That's
Here's a
like,
dream catcher. Good luck, buddy.
Hold this in your left hand for 4 minutes. What? Why?
You have cancer. You just take this L and go home.
All you got to do is let us disassemble you. We're not banging rocks together here. We know how to put a man back together.
Well, theoretically, it's gonna give you the best possible outcome based on whatever scenario you might be going through.
So I guess the doc, when it gets to that point, right, is the doctor's position like the barrier to entry, I guess? Like if all that information comes in, the doctor being the doctor, knowing all of the knowledge that the doctor has, takes whatever the AI gives and like, okay, the AI says we have to do this. Doctor's like, I don't think we should do that. What else do you have? Something like that. I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah, if we don't, if it's still considered weak AI, I'm assuming that you're still gonna need human intelligence, as referring to back to what Victor said earlier, for critical reasoning, right? The AI will give you all this information, but you, as a human, will see things that may not be just black and white. You're gonna have the empathy. What if the AI is telling you to put a certain patient on a drug? The drug is, super, bad on the patient, right? The doctor can say there has to be alternatives because this drug isn't the best for this type of patient. Yes, it might be the best for this type of cancer, but not for this type of patient.
Right.
So that's that. So that's one of the benefits of it. You also have like these augmented reality stuff for people with disabilities. So
wait, well, one more thing about the medical thing before we move on. I'm thinking, we're talking more like AI as a brain, right? What about AI, like tangible AI, as far as like, is AI gonna start doing surgeries? Like is a robot, like the robot has the brain, the AI, but also has the tools to do the surgery. And you talked about human error before, right? A human, let's say there has been doctors that have made a mistake in surgery or like, messed up. Will a robot, not be able to do that because they're almost perfect? You know what I mean?
Do we do that for eye surgeries now? Don't they do that? Well, like, isn't it like a computer that does that?
No, it's someone
I'm
controlling
not sure.
How do they like not make a mistake with eye surgery?
Yeah, it still scares me to this day.
It's assisted with like robotics, so it's like they do it for regular surgeries. They have like little robot hands that go in,
like a third hand. Just hey, I need this here, right? But
it's just they're helping you.
But will it be completing like a full surgery?
In the future, most likely. Why not? If you have that technology, why not? But this is not just like 10, 15 years down the line. That sort of technology is most likely going to take, might
30,
not be
40 years, 50 years.
I think about it. I think it's good because like when you start to see like what people do, like, like let's say a doctor who's taken kickbacks to do certain surgeries that maybe you shouldn't do or prescribe certain medications. I think like the AI would be like a good like check to that, right? Mm-hmm. Or if people are, faking accounting numbers or making up stuff in like super long reports, you could just take AI and be like, break it down. What are they trying to say, right? So I think it might be a good check against humanity. But
couldn't you just corrupt AI as well?
I was going to say, but then can't you just like override it or corrupt AI also? So I don't know, like, and
how angry
depends on the
You've told me you've never got angry at your phone or a computer for not doing what you asked it to do, and then it just gives you all of a sudden you have a Windows update and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, sometimes like I'm talking at work, Siri will jump on my phone. And I'm like, I'm not talking to you. Like, get it.
Shut up. And we get mad, bro.
Yeah.
People get mad against AI. Like, how upset do you get when Siri starts talking? Right? I just immediately get like a rage. Like how many Xbox controllers have you smashed? It's like, I pressed the button. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
I shot him in the face. Why did you not register my shot?
Yeah, we are going to break these robots when they come out.
Well, did you ever see that? You ever see that hitchhiking friendly robot?
No.
There was this robot that someone left it out, and it was like, give this robot a ride, and the whole thing was just you pick up the robot, you put it on your car, you drive it to wherever, you drop it off. Someone else will do the same thing, and it was just this friendly robot. It got to Philly and was fucking destroyed.
Of
Someone
course.
beat the shit out of it. They fucking like it was a simple just this like friendly thing that was like trying to get to fucking
But that just
across
says
the
more
country.
about people, right? Which
Yeah.
leads me to, the disadvantages of AI. And, to be honest, and I don't think I'm being facetious here when I say the people behind all this technology are literally the gatekeepers of our future. Literally. All these programmers, all these, whoever is behind all this stuff, Google, whatever, OpenAI, whatever.
Kids learn to program.
Seriously.
For real.
And I say this because all this technology has to be filtered through some sort of prism.
Well, did you guys hear what Elon Musk said about AI recently?
I don't give a
What did he
fuck
say?
what Elon Musk said, but we'll go ahead.
I mean,
what
he's in that that field. You know what I mean?
He's in the field.
He's in that
destroying public
zeitgeist.
transportation
right?
He's in that zeitgeist, bro.
and taking government
It's a
handouts.
big word. I've been hearing that word lately, so I figured I'd use it. But
Did you
here's
say
what
government hand jobs?
handouts and handouts.
It's like,
here's what he said though, and this was interesting. He goes, AI is more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production, in the sense that it has the potential, however small one may regard that probability, but it is non-trivial. It has the potential of civilization destruction. And like that's pretty,
So do so many other things in this fucking world.
Of course, but you're talking about a computer.
Except I think what he's talking about was the fact that, like, with AI, you give it, let's say, a certain command, it's gonna. When I mentioned earlier that Microsoft had to pull back their first version of AI because it created its own, it's created its own algorithm to talk to itself. Well, they've also had other missteps. They released their first version of Bard, right? Their AI thing, and the internet just went wild. It made it fucking racist. It made the AI racist. It just kept feeding it racist information, anti-Semitic, sexist. They mentioned, huh?
How does that happen?
The internet, bro. Users, I think what. I might be wrong, but I think it was like that. It kept giving information talking about that the Holocaust was not real and Hitler was a good person. Like, and then as you give it more information, it just takes all these things and then like it just runs with it.
You done messed up, Aaron!
So AI, you can before I get to this little tidbit that I think it's super interesting. I think that's one of the reasons why he thinks this is more dangerous than anything else. You're going to give this artificial intelligence. What happens if it takes all this information, creates? You see how Facebook is just misinformation left and right. Imagine an AI designed to create news that's portrayed as actual real information that leads to wars, that leads to conflicts, that leads to just a whole bunch of shit.
but can't you like then have AI that will sift through that crap and be able to negate maybe some of the things that are happening? I just feel like there might, with a lot of this stuff,
For every problem you're saying that we could create another AI to do the opposite.
or a solution. I mean, we might have more problems, but we also might have more solutions available. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, we're creating. What we're doing is we're creating like. If we want this thing to start thinking for itself, we're creating like another being in just mathematics. Is essentially what we're doing. And then it's like, how do you control that if it's thinking for itself?
Yeah, but how realistically? Like, I feel like we're like 100 years from that.
It doesn't matter if we're 100 or 10. That's what we want to do, it seems. And that's, I think, what we're scared of doing, is creating something else.
It's a mirror upon a society. So even that, like, you're saying, oh, look, we're going to create something that's just as evil as we are.
Well, look at what Caesar said. I mean, we created something and it just took all our own information and turned into this super racist thing.
Yeah, but I mean, the
No.
goal for AI would be to not recreate ourselves, is to create something better than ourselves.
On that note, there's a term that the CEO of Google, when he was talking about, this whole AI, he said that it's called hallucinations. It's when the AI takes information that's false and portrays it as 100% with confidence as it being real. And he says there's literally no way around that. All we have to do is just try to mitigate that. So
Say that again.
It's
when
called
it takes.
it's called hallucinations. It's when the AI takes false information, gives it to you. Let's say you ask it a question, it has false information. It gives it to you with 100% confidence, and you believe it because it's a computer telling you. And I forgot his name, but the CEO of Google was like, "Yeah, there's no way around this. It's just we have to try to mitigate that."
Why would it do that? Because it believes it's right.
Yeah, it's false information that the AI believes it's right.
Sundar Pichai.
Sundar
CEO of Google.
Pichai.
But we need to figure out a way to not do that. I mean, think about it this way: like, you could tell me a complete lie, or you could tell me something that was. I mean, look at our podcast, right? We're explaining something like probably completely wrong. So people out there don't.
Probably.
This is about 3 hours worth of research that I mean, maybe Caesar did a lot more, but people need to know to sift through that information.
When you go to Google, are you sifting through that information, or are you taking
I do
it
like
as
the top
a word?
5. I do
Exactly.
I do qualitative
Depends what I'm looking
research.
for.
Yeah.
What if
the top 5 things?
What if the top one gives you an answer and you're
I
like,
usually
I'll
go
run
with that.
Yeah, that's exactly. But it's just at a larger scale, right? Imagine it giving you, let's just say fake news, right? Imagine it giving you like a fake scenario and with 100% confident that this is it. This happened.
But here's the thing, though. If I'm going to do a research paper, right, I'm going to make it as accurate as possible. So then I will be spending the time to read things and check things and, do whatever. Not like a, last minute college research paper, like a legit research paper. AI should be able to do that in seconds. So it should technically come up with the most accurate answer. Regardless of whatever it can find. Because if it's doing research, it's going to read everything, check everything. Well, what is correct? What isn't correct? Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the goal?
That is the goal, but this is still going to happen. It's going to spew misinformation.
We're going to get AI Hitler. Is that what you're saying?
Not Hitler, but it's especially with the whole like that. What's the one that you can recreate pictures and stuff?
Photoshop?
No, not Photoshop. There's
the
one
AI?
The AI that can recreate pictures. It had like Trump getting arrested or like other stuff.
Oh, deepfake?
Is that what it's called? Yeah. Imagine you taking an AI taking misinformation, adding pictures to it, submitting it as let's say a New York Times article.
Or have you heard AI singing other people's songs?
I've heard of that.
What?
Yeah.
They have Kanye West singing "Summertime Sadness," and it sounds
just like him.
Sounds like he sounds like he's actually singing the song. Like that's a lost recording or something.
I mean, talk about living in a simulation. We won't even know what is real.
Dude, with everything with like virtual reality, augmented reality, these deep fake stuff that's happening, it's like, what is real nowadays? And people are gonna live there, but like you're gonna feel more comfortable. People are feeling more comfortable being in that augmented reality or virtual whatever than they would in real life.
I just think it's awesome. Like, so we talk about like, what were we created from? What are we living in a simulation? I just feel like that's what we're doing. We're creating a simulation. We're creating other things to think for themselves. We're creating another world. And then there's going to just be 2 worlds, like our real world with everything shut off. There's probably going to be a bunch of like robots running around, but we're just going to, break them or whatever. And then when you're in the internet, it's going to be something completely different. especially with VR. Like you people will get lost in that thing.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be, yeah.
He's beginning to believe.
I mean, look at kids now. I don't think kids can really handle the internet. Where some kids, like,
these 10-year-old kids are on Instagram and TikTok and they have cell phones. These kids are exposed to all this type of stuff that they shouldn't be exposed to. And you got 10-year-old boys looking at Instagram models. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
which ones so I can avoid them? Which ones so I can avoid them?
Yeah, you got any handle? I mean, you just say at the top of your head. I'm gonna write them down.
I was
bad enough as a teenager with AIM. I couldn't imagine if I had Instagram.
If you had Instagram,
all that stuff.
If we had Instagram at that age, at 10, 11 years old, like crazy. I can't. These kids nowadays.
What's your age, sex, and gender?
ASL. ASL.
What's your sign? Remember that?
But yeah, man. Like, there's a lot of So because it's so new, right? There's still no regulations, and there most likely aren't going to be any regulations to this for a while, right? Because a lot of governments tends to be more.
Have you seen our government?
Reactionary than proactive. That's what I'm saying. And even
they can't even speak about. If you listen to any hearing about anything technology, these guys have no clue what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know how things work. The government's still mostly baby boomers, and they're fucking clueless.
We need AI in the government. Shut these people down.
We need younger people in the government.
That's true.
Yeah.
And and we need, to be honest, we need a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, I think the people behind all this technology are literally the gatekeepers of the future, because a lot of these companies, right, these software engineers who are behind all these algorithms, who are all behind this code, if you're gonna, let's say they do manipulate these AIs, right, what path are we going to lead down to? Because there's no regulation, and a lot of the time ethics is like on like no one really cares about ethics until something bad happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So a lot of these companies, they have to like create these internal networks of individuals who are hopefully going to try to put some perspective on this whole information, on this whole technology. So if we don't have that, if they're not there for that, if they're just there to make money, then I can see this information not only being used for bad shit, but just leading us down a path into a future where like we'll probably turn around and be like, yo, fuck, how did we get here?
Our questioning of, we should celebrate our achievement versus what should we do with it? What is our social responsibility of it? Goes out the window. Until
something unfortunately bad happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think with something like this, we can't even think of how it's gonna like impact us. Like we won't even know until it's out there, and then we'll just have to see. And yeah, we're gonna use it, and we're gonna use it against each other, and we're gonna use it against other countries, and we're gonna use it to make things just super easy for ourselves. And then on the back end, it's gonna be like it could also be really bad. I mean, just think about all the stuff that it could do for me. I don't have to drive. Right, I don't have to write emails. All the easy, mundane things that kill time. Like, what are all the annoying things you got to do? It's going to do it.
I think, pay my bills, and it can literally just pay everything.
Manage my money. Manage my money for me.
Right.
They did. Right? They did a quick little thing about AI versus a money manager versus a regular individual in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
AI won, right?
AI won. Had a better return.
I mean, just all that stuff. And then I get to go and do all the fun stuff I want to do. Like watch television, like surf the internet.
Stay inside.
And then you could ask AI, you're like, you know what? I'm not seeing the stuff I want to see on the internet. No one has created the content. Create content for me and put it in my face.
Well, there you go.
That's it. This is what I want to look at all day. and then it'll just make it up because there's tons of deep fakes and whatever, and then I want to watch that.
There's someone created anime using AI, and they said literally copy the style of this show. And I think the producers of that show, or they were trying to sue them for infringement. But they're like, well, we didn't create it. We said, hey, use this show as a thing, and then it.
I have a question. Who do you guys think? Who should get credit? Who claims ownership? If I ask AI to create something for me, and it's a giant hit, who should claim for it? Does the AI claim for it, or should I take claim for it, even though I didn't do it?
Do laws count against AI?
Not yet, because
you'd punish the people that created it.
What if AI is creating its own thing?
Well, here's the thing, though. If I take inspiration of something, if I learn in the style of art, I'm going to equate this to food because it's easier to think. If I'm working at a pizzeria and you teach me how to make pizzas, you teach me this is the way how to make pizza. I quit the place and open my own pizza shop and make pizzas the exact same way. Should you be able to sue me because I'm making the same product?
Well, I probably had you sign a non-complete clause.
Yeah, and
a restaurant.
and then you be making pizzas in Albuquerque. So no,
exactly.
You would just have to change one thing in the recipe.
No, you don't have to change shit. This is how you taught me how to make pizza, because you taught me how to make it this way. This is how I know how to make pizza. This is my livelihood. It's not infringement.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think so.
I kind of think about it like this, a little differently, in terms of AI, separate from pizza, right? If I use Word to create a novel, I'm not going to give Microsoft any money, because even though I'm using their tool, I'm the one creating the novel. If someone uses AI to create a novel and tells AI to create it, shouldn't that company get credit?
Oh, yeah.
Because the AI was the one that did it?
Because AI would be the tool.
Not the individual. If I'm telling AI to create this, the tools, it's that's how I think about it. I saw a lawsuit that says that the courts are, in quotations, hostile towards giving AI any sort of claim on ownership.
Hostile.
Yeah, meaning I don't know what kind of precedent it might set to, or what road that might lead to. But I think for now, if I create something using one of these artificial intelligences, I think I'm going to be the one that's going to be able to claim ownership.
So let's say I make an AI, right? And it's like a Microsoft Word. And then it goes, and I can't control it, and it starts writing a bunch of like hits. Do I get all the money for that? Do I make all the royalties on the books that it writes?
As of now, I think you do.
Like if you start going after, like right now, if Tesla, if you're driving a Tesla and it freaks out and hits somebody because it didn't see them clearly, but they were right in front of you, who gets in trouble? Tesla doesn't get in trouble. You have insurance, right?
Mm.
And Tesla has insurance, and they just settle. But like, I guess it would just go that way. Just, I don't know.
Like I said, all these, we still don't have the technology is so early on that we don't have a lot of the framework for all these different things that we need in terms of when a new technology decides to come out, right? So the ethics of it, the regulations on it, just like we don't really know. We don't really know.
I mean, most laws are, written in blood. Like something has to happen first, and then we go, oh, okay, yeah, we should not have this happen again.
Well, it's like a lot of rules in companies too,
right?
Somebody did something bad or somebody got hurt, then they make the law or the rule.
Right. Like how many accidents needed to happen before we said, yeah, seatbelts are probably needed in cars.
Yeah.
27.
Yeah, but you don't
I did
know
the research.
27
you don't
exactly.
know until it happens. You never know, because you can never think ahead.
Right.
You can't predict the future. You have to wait. Like, oh, well, that was pretty bad.
But that's the problem with this, right? Like you kind of, and this, I'm hoping that these, like I keep saying, like I'm hoping the people behind this are actually thinking about all this stuff before they actually release it. At least one or two or three or four.
I think there's a fear. But I think people are making it and they don't care.
Yeah.
right?
I think the people that are making it are thinking one thing: we need to be ahead of the game and we need to dominate the market. I don't think they're giving a shit what backlash or what happens from it. I think that there's outsiders. There's plenty of outsiders that are going, "Hey, we should be careful about this. This can happen. This can happen. This can happen." But I think the people, if you're making it, if you're on the verge, you're just trying to stay afloat. You're trying to stay ahead of the game.
Well, do the pros outweigh the cons with AI? Like as far as like advancement of it?
I think it's an advancement of our civilization.
So more pros.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing. Pros and cons, it's coming.
It's coming regardless.
Regardless, this technology is coming. This is the future. So regardless of the pros and cons, we just got to try to mitigate the negatives.
We're not going to turn back now.
Now we're going. People love ChatGPT.
At this point in time in 2023, right? Do we want it? Look how far it's come already, right? Do we want it to go faster, or are we okay with this gradual progression? Like, do we want it to be like, all right, in 1 year, it can do all this, or do we want like, all right, let's just slowly, build upon it?
I don't think with technology there's anything. It's slow to produce, but it is exponential as soon as we get it. You know what I mean? Like it just.
And sometimes you don't know when that exponential rise is going to happen. It just could be like one day, like, oh crap, we figured it out, and then boom. Look at
all the stuff people are coming up with to do with ChatGPT right now.
Right?
What was it? Was it a chatbot? And now people are like, oh, it could do this. It could do this. It could write my papers. It could plan my trip. It can, like whatever. Like it can say everything I want to say easier. And then people are doing whatever to make its own language. Like we are going to manipulate it to work for us.
What I'm thinking, you got, Caesar, you kind of mentioned as far as like, what are the good things that it can do? And Rob, you said it too. I'm thinking about like, as far as civilization with like, farming and cropping, right? You can, it knows the correct amount of water to put out on the crops. It knows the correct amount of seeds, the correct amount of all this stuff, how to harvest it all. Like those are good things that, a computer can figure out, where it won't have that human error. Or like, what if the farmer is busy, like something happened that day, he can't get out there. A computer's not going to, deal with that. So those are good things.
That brings up another thing. How many jobs are we going to lose because of AI?
There you go.
What are we going to do with millions of people? Like, I guarantee you, not even that my concern, it's just like, this is going to happen. You have self-driving vehicles, right? That's what everyone's trying to get to. What do you think is the first thing they're going to have self-driving? Trucks, because they work the longest. So as of 2021, there's 3.5 million truck drivers. What are you going to do with 3.5 million unemployed people? Like, tell them all, hey, listen, we outsourced you. We got AI drivers now, so good luck. Find another job.
They're going to travel to other countries that don't have whatever.
But how long is that going to take? Like, how long until other countries pick up self-driving trucks? Like, you're going to have massive unemployment.
But dude, that happened in McDonald's, dude. When they were putting the automatic machines and then a computer makes the burgers, that is happening now,
I mean, it's not happening. I'm just saying, like, as it continues more and more,
as it progresses, yeah.
Like as Rob said, ChatGPT is out there making fucking emails for people. All of middle management's going to disappear to AI.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How many people you need in the finance world if it's doing Excel for me? Like,
let me read you guys a quote by an AI expert. We talked about this whole thing. He said, "The bottom 90%, especially the bottom 50% of the world in terms of income and education, will be badly hurt with job displacement. The simple question to ask is, how routine is a job? And that is how likely it is a job to be replaced by AI, because AI can, within routine tasks, learn to optimize itself. And the more quantitative, the more objective the job is, separating things into bin, washing dishes, picking fruits, and answering customer service calls, those are very much scripted tasks that are repetitive and routine in nature. In a matter of 5, 10, or 15 years, all these types of jobs are going to be displaced by AI."
Wow. So like customer service gone.
Anything that's repetitive.
There's no such
anything
thing as customer service. Have you gone to a restaurant?
anything that be, I'm assuming what he's trying to say. Anything that can be considered repetitive,
Right.
and that can be optimized by automation. So that's a whole nother topic. Automation, how it has displaced jobs for centuries now.
I mean, automation, but there's like automation plus AI. I mean,
Plus
you're
AI.
basically.
Oh yeah. As soon as you get a sick robotic and then you hook it up with a ridiculous smart AI, what's it called? Strong AI. We're done.
You're done. You're done.
You guys want to hear something funny? So they gave ChatGPT a couple of exams that we would take, that certain professionals would take: the bar, the medical licensing exam, a whole bunch of AP exams, and it passed.
Oh my god. We don't need lawyers.
Now,
So,
when you say pass, like
meaning
100% passed, or like it just
meaning they passed.
Is it just pass or fail?
For the math section in the SAT, GPT-4 earned 700 out of 800.
Wow. Okay.
It scored a 1410 out of 1600. The average SAT score in 2021 was 1060.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
Wow.
We're done.
But we're idiots. So.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, this is America.
I'm not even gonna share my SAT
This
score.
is
It
a
was
test, bro.
embarrassing.
Whatever test.
This is in America.
This is whatever. I guess the average for that year. Well, no,
American academics is pretty low in the total poll.
Do international students take the
Yeah, why would they
SAT?
take an SAT?
I know they take.
They don't take it to get into to college.
A
isn't
U.S.
it?
school, maybe.
So there you go.
Oh, I
They
don't
have
know.
Take the
different, though, like-
ACTs and the TOEFLs and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, but they have like, because other countries do it differently. Like they have placement exams and all this other stuff. They have like, I think they have similar stuff.
They
but
have-
don't have what we have.
Yeah, I don't know what they have.
So regardless, they passed all these
So I
exams.
mean, a lot of these technical jobs will go away, but so what are the jobs that are going to stay? Like
That's a good question.
AI cannot communicate well with other people. Like what about jobs that are clearly based off of what people do? Like politics is not going away
No.
because that's people
Sales,
selling
bro.
other people.
Sales jobs.
Sales jobs will come in.
Why not? Who knows?
I don't know.
Communication.
I think early education will never go away. I think college education might go away. Like people are already learning on computers and learning, higher education. But I think elementary education that won't go away. You
Yeah, I
need
mean, think
teachers.
about it. Think about it now, right? College, they give you the book, they give you a PowerPoint presentation that the guy, it's not even in English. You don't even know what it's in, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, if you got any questions, I got office hours for 15 minutes a day, and let me know if you're available.
But that's
You're teaching
shitty,
yourself.
That's shitty college education.
Yeah, mine's at 20 minutes.
But it's more that happens more frequent than
But that's what it
we would-
is.
we would like.
I think
Jobs
that's
that
for different
aren't. I
reasons.
mean, I think things that robotics can't do, AI can't do. I think fixing things, like
fixing the robots.
fixing the robots, doing
You think a car
like
mechanics
building a
or something like that?
house or any of that stuff.
Like
Like
construction workers.
I don't know. They can
Yeah.
3D print a house now.
That is true.
You ever seen that? It has
how
like
do
the
you fix a
concrete.
3D house?
Build another one. There's your fix.
I don't know. I think right now we're not there. Not with
No,
robotics.
no.
Well,
Not at all.
I mean, if you talk about like if robots come into play,
Influencers are definitely out.
No, you always want
I
the
saw-
influencer.
I saw
No,
YouTube.
that's the stuff that's gonna stay.
I saw a
When
YouTube
I don't
video.
have a job, what am I gonna be watching?
I s-
Influencers.
yeah.
Bro, I saw I saw
Hey,
a
welcome
YouTube
to the
video.
Unemployed Podcast, where we're all unemployed and we're just podcasting.
Please support us.
All you have to do to be entered to win is like, comment, subscribe, sell your soul to the devil, give me your left foot's big toe.
This
Here's
has
our
to go good.
Patreon,
This has
yeah.
to go good.
Yeah, if you have any money, give it to us.
Have you guys seen any like influencers out in the wild? Like they have the giant, cameras. Like
Oh yeah, in
And
New
they
York City
have-
all the time.
I'm
Everybody's
sure
an
you
influencer.
guys, yeah.
Everybody's an influencer. I had a guy taking a picture of his bicycle next to a cherry tree the other day.
Bro, I can't, since I started going to the gym earlier in the day, everyone sets up tripods and shit and films themselves.
Just work out already.
And I'm like, what is, are you guys influencers? Like, are you, should I be following you on Instagram? Like, I don't understand. I'm just here to fucking do legs.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's why I don't do legs.
Yeah, that's why.
There's just too many people in the gym, you know?
Because here at Globo Gym, we're better than you. And we know it.
Dude, at the supermarket, these people are doing like dance moves in the middle of the aisle, like behind the cereal.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm like, oh, guys, like,
we're done. AI is going to come out and be like, you guys suck.
You guys.
You don't even know how to food shop.
But yeah, to finish that point, I think with every advancement in technology, you're always going to have a whole host of jobs that are going to be gone, but you're also going to have a shit ton of jobs that are going to be created by the same technology.
Right.
So you just got to be on that side, you know? And I think lastly, what I want to get into real quick is I'm going to describe to you what one analyst thinks it's going to happen in the future. So these are his words. He thinks in 2035, highly intelligent robots fill public service positions throughout the world, operating under 3 rules to keep people safe. Despite his dark history of robotics, Detective Nelson, I can't get through it.
Are you talking about iRobot again?
Oh my God.
I couldn't get through it. That's the plot for iRobot.
Oh my
I couldn't get through it.
That was like 3 rules. Wait a minute.
Victor's face was like, hold on.
That's what broke me. That's what broke me.
I hate that movie.
That's what broke me. That's damn it. I wanted to finish that.
This one analyst.
But yeah, that was our conversation about artificial intelligence. Rob, what did you learn today, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think I see a lot of positive. I think it's what I'm thinking about is artificial intelligence mixed with robotics is the scary part. But I think artificial intelligence will help us. It'll move us forward, and we'll just have to react to all the negatives.
Mitch, what do you think, man?
Yeah, same. I mean, like, because you have the brain of AI, right? But then when you combine that with a robot, that's when it's like, okay, do we have to worry about this thing? But it could be, like we said before, it's positive, and there's positive and negatives, and there, when we said pros and cons, it's going to happen regardless. There are going to be pros and cons, but how are humans going to adapt to it? So it's all about adaptation. So that's kind of what I got from that.
What about you, Victor?
I mean, I think that, AI is coming, and I think if we can get a legal system to wrap our heads around it, I think it'd be great. I mean, I think there should be laws like, like a first law should be like, a robot can't harm another human.
Definitely.
Do you think we should? I think we should. Yeah, 2 more laws. We should come
2
with
more laws.
What's the other 2?
Maybe like the second one should be like a robot shall obey any instruction given to it by a human.
What's the third one?
And the third one, like a robot shall avoid actions or situations that could cause it to come to harm itself.
Those are 3 great laws.
And then possibly like Will Smith is out there enforcing it.
Slapping people? He's just slapping the robots?
He's just slapping robots. I like it. Say Jada's name.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
All the robots look like Chris Rock.
All right. I hope like the people behind this technology, know that hopefully they think about the ethics behind all their decisions, and I hope there's the ethical framework which they create all this technology with, and because this shit can get crazy. So we hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like what you heard, please pass this podcast along, like, comment, subscribe to wherever you get your podcast, and see you on the next one.
Later.
Bye.